Thank you, thank you, thank you. Saba, thank you so much. Oh, my sound's off, but a good thing I'm loud. There we go. You know, I always get emotion. The reason why I play that video is because there's this talk about overnight success and hitting these big goals that everybody sees as success. They see when somebody makes that big win and how glorious it is. But not everybody talks about the failures. And I am going to share with you today my journey on everything that I've accomplished, my obstacles, my failures, my low points, and to show you overnight success is years in the making. It takes time, it takes hard work, it takes drive and passion, but it's worth it. And you just have to keep going. So, crowdfunding expert to media mogul. Why we're going to talk about crowdfunding and media is because I was able to use crowdfunding as my way to get the things I want in life. It was my specialized knowledge. It was a tool that I could use to get the opportunities I wanted in life, which led to media, which led to videos, which has led to our TV show and everything we're doing today. And I'm going to share with you different videos that you can do. I'm going to share with you different tactics for it. I'm going to share with you how it's the most powerful storytelling device you could ever use, how it's changed my life, and the whole journey on the things. You're literally going to see from when I had a speech impediment and I was in a small town of Garnerville, Iowa, all the way to now traveling the country and having a reality show with my beautiful fiance. So the question I want you to ask yourself is, what do you want in life? You know, I know that sounds simple, but it's really something you need to think about. What do you want? You know, a lot of people don't know what they want. I'm 27 years old. I'll be 28 here in about 3 weeks. And I found out that it took a lot of throwing darts, a lot of trial and error to figure out what I wanted. Along the way, I had to do a bunch of different things. I had to try things. I had to put myself out there. And once I figured out what I really wanted, it made it easier. So for you, and take notes and think about this, what do you want in life? What do you want your legacy to be? What do you want to one day, when you're 70, 80, 90 years old, what do you want to say you did on this earth? What impact do you want to make? And what experiences do you want to have along the way? So this quote I love by Napoleon Hill, and by the way, I'm a Napoleon Hill junkie, Think and Go Rich, changed my life. It's this: whatever the mind conceives and believes, the mind achieves. I'll say it one more time. Whatever your mind conceives and believes, your mind achieves. And whatever you think about the most is what you become. I say that quote every single day to myself. And I truly believe if you can conceive in your mind, you can plant that idea in your mind, and you can believe that it can happen, it eventually will happen. You first have to believe in yourself and have the confidence that you can achieve it. So there's my younger self. I used to be in the Boy Scouts. I know. I had a little bit of a belly, and I had a speech impediment, I had a lisp. I couldn't talk. I was that kid with the lisp, but everybody bullied and made fun of. And, you know, I always had a passion. I knew one day that I wanted to be great at something. I knew I wanted to sell. I wanted to be a salesman. I wanted to be something. I just didn't know what it was. And I remember one person specifically, and if any of you, I'm sure we've all been bullied in some ways, when he would come up to me and he would mock me and say different things that I couldn't pronounce and make fun of me. And I never forget that. And it bothered me. I said, you know what? I'm going to be great at speaking one day. I'm going to be the best. I'm going to do something with my life. And I remember sitting in front of the mirror, and I'd practice speaking every night. Nobody knew this. I did this myself. And I actually visualized myself being a great speaker. I remember telling myself, I don't have a speech impediment. And people would come to me, and they would say, do you have a lisp? I said, no, I don't. I made my mind believe that I did not. And before I knew it, I started speaking better. I became great at speaking. Actually made it my advantage, something that I was good at. Because I told myself that I didn't have a problem. I told myself I'd be great one day. I planted that seed in my mind at a young age. I was lucky enough to have a father that raised me in entrepreneurship. I love my father. Everything I do is for my family and my fiance, but also my father. My dad gave me everything. He taught me what it is like to be a good person. He taught me business. He taught me drive. I saw at a young age what it took to have success. He started a business in '86, and at that time he didn't have much money. I was born in '89, and he started the ice business. And yes, I can sell ice to an Eskimo. It's an interesting business, and you sell frozen water. It does pretty well. And I got to see what it's like working with employees, trucks, and delivering ice and doing it in the summers. And I was telling Shay, I don't really know much about baseball because I couldn't play baseball when I was younger. I had to deliver ice. But I learned what it is like to be an entrepreneur. I saw my dad struggle. I saw him succeed. I got that bred in me. I'm a Spartan entrepreneur. And then I went to college. Well, shit's gonna go crazy now. I went to college, and I got into college, and here's, the picture I can best describe. There was me. My first semester, I got a 1.68 GPA. I did some drugs and alcohol and all these other things. I played rugby. I was pretty good at it. That was me right before my rugby game with a drink and a cigar in my mouth. No joke. And I didn't really care. I didn't go to class. I was just kind of doing whatever. And at 1.68 GPA my first semester, I got kicked out of the dorm 5 days early for fighting. Actually ended up me fighting, and before I knew it, there was 5 guys on me kicking me in the head. And I got in trouble, and I got kicked out of the dorms. Almost got kicked out of college. It was quite the experience. And at that moment, I realized, Brandon, you should do something with your life, or you're going to end up going home. You're going to go work in the family business, and everybody's going to tell you for the rest of your life that you're the kid that couldn't make it, and you just took over your daddy's business, which I didn't want to hear that. So I turned things around a little bit, and where it really changed for me was this book. And I thank God, and I thank everything for this book, because this literally gave me the key to success in life. It's a book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And later I'm going to talk about how that book led me to the opportunity to be a part of a movie called Think and Grow Rich: The Legacy. And this book, and this is what I learned. I was in college at this time, and I was broke, and I didn't have anything. I was literally doing drugs, alcohol, all these things. I read this book, and there's me with the 1.68 GPA, and I read it, and I realized, I don't have to be all book smart. I don't have to be the smartest guy in the room. I saw Henry Ford and Thomas Edison and Andrew Carnegie and what these people did. What they had was a burning desire, a drive, a passion, just like I had early on to overcome my speech impediment. They had a mission to have success, and they were not going to quit until they achieved it. And I thought in that moment when I was sitting in my apartment reading that book, I realized I can do whatever I want in life. I can achieve big things. I can be like them. You and I, we're all the same. All of you could be the next Andrew Carnegie, Thomas Edison. You could be that if you really wanted to pay the price. So I was committed. I knew something was going to happen one day, and I was going to make it happen. So I was out on the look. I was going to start getting my stuff together, and where things really came, and I saw my first opportunity to apply the principles of Think and Grow Rich was one day I was delivering ice. It was going into my last year of college, and it was a hot day, and I was soaking sweat. I was actually in the town of Ferryville, Wisconsin, very small town. Got done, I got a drink of water, set it down, drove down the road, and literally our ice trucks I don't even think had AC, so I was soaked. Went to take another drink, and it was warm, and I had this problem before. I'm sure you all experienced that. And I could have put ice cubes in the bottled beverage, but I thought, how can I make it easier to fit in and keep it colder longer, but also flavor it? At that moment, I came up with this idea called the Arctic Stick, and I ended up taking it to Iowa State University. I won a class competition, and I was actually applying the principles of Think and Grow Rich by just literally 30 hours a week. This is all I focused on. I was calling manufacturers. I said, I got an ice company. We're going to do this mold. And when I had a real reality check was the day when I found out just to having a prototype was going to be $5,000 for a class presentation. I'm like, well, I can't do that. I don't have that money. But Arctic Stick was the thing I was putting my passion, my drive in it. And the lesson we learned here, in that moment, I thought that was going to be my thing to make hundreds of millions of dollars and do a product line and everything else. But it was just something I had focused on. And that was my starting point. I did something. I acted on something. A lot of people say, I don't know what I want to do. I'm trying to look for a next thing. Just take action. You'll figure it out. 5 years of action from Arctic Stick led to a TV show. So here is my first pilot run of a TV show, and Tana Gert's in the audience, one of my mentors, and somebody who's in there. Actually, you can see her with Cactus Jack Behringer. I had hired my first mentor, and I always say, find somebody who's achieved what you want to achieve, learn for them, and follow in their footsteps. And Cactus Jack was one of them. I got out of college. I wanted to work and have somebody as a mentor, and Cactus Jack, his fee was about 10 grand to work with him. And I had read the book because he's the one that gave the book to me. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to figure a way to work with this guy. And I didn't have any money. And I went to my dad and I laughed, and I'm glad he did this. I'm like, Dad, I want to work with this guy named Cactus Jack. Can I have 10 grand? Can you borrow it to me? He said, no, son. If you want it, you can figure a way to get it yourself. So I'm glad he did that. And what I did is I wasn't going to take no for an answer. I went to family, friends, and some fools, and I had to sign up, and I had Arctic Stick, and I said the vision, and within 3 weeks I raised the 10 grand, and I paid him with cash. I'll never forget the day, and I hired my first mentor, and it was the best thing that I ever did. I found somebody already achieved what I want to achieve, and I knew he could help me get there. And that was one of the cool things, is what got me on this pilot on a TV show, which the show never got picked up. But from that instant, it led to me being friends with Tana Gertz and many other great people, and eventually partnering with a product development company for my product. So during this time, I was doing multiple things, and there's going to be a good learning lesson. I'm going to tell a story that I haven't told in a very long time, and probably last time I told it was when I spoke to Saba's class. And during this time of developing Arctic Stick, I was selling real estate. I was doing a bunch of things, by the way. Jack of trade, master of none. I was selling real estate, I was selling ice, but also I was working at corporate. So I was so dedicated to my dream and my passion. I had this invention called the Arctic Stick. I got the idea for Arctic Stick because we were a distributor of Arctic Glacier ice. They're one of the biggest distributors of ice in the country. And I saw an opportunity to be a distribution manager. I always said I wouldn't work for corporate. And he was like, oh man, I don't want to work for corporate. But I knew if I worked for this position, it was a distribution manager of 3 locations. If I did that, I would learn, I'd gain more knowledge, but I would gain connections with the CEO and other people who could make a decision to buy my product. And that was really the driver why I did it. They don't know that. I mean, that was my whole vision. So I worked my ass off, and I was making my way to the top. Went from managing 3 locations at 22 years old to 8 locations and about a $10 million territory and 50 employees and a bunch of headaches and a bunch of things. And I was working, I don't know, 100 and some hours a week. And do the math, I think I slept like 4 hours a night. At the time, I was on Adderall because I had this thing called ADD, which I overcame and basically threw the pills away. But I wasn't sleeping. I was going nonstop. I wasn't happy. I was fucking working my ass off, man. And it was one day on July 19th of 2013 when I got in this truck. I got in this piece of shit truck. It was a stick shift. And I was in this warehouse. And I had to deliver ice to it was some event in Polk City. It was Polk City Days or something. And I remember I was pushing up this pallet of ice to the truck because the actual electric jack was broke. And how many days, or how many of you have had those days where it's like nothing's going right? This is like my worst day ever. Yeah, that was that kind of day, and then add on top of it. So I'm pushing up this thing of ice, and I got in the truck, and there was no AC, and then I got a couple calls, and my dad said the truck broke down, and that was money out of my pocket, and then I had employees and drivers who were probably twice my age, but they act like they were like half my age, and they were telling me like, hey, there's this problem, and I had all these things come to me at once, and I was going on very little sleep, a lot of drinking, and a lot of things that had happened in many days before that put me to basically a snapping point. I'm driving down the road, and I'm going, and all of a sudden I get dizzy, and I'm like, really dizzy, and I'm like, holy shit, I'm gonna pass out. I pulled over, I put in park, all of a sudden my body locked up, and it was the most painful fucking experience of my life, and I was locked up like this, and I was in a combination of a heat stroke or seizure / like I felt like a heart attack. My body shut down. And it was so painful. I had an earpiece in because when you drive those trucks, you have to have an earpiece in. And I was like pulled over the side of the road, kicking and trying to get help because I thought I was gonna die. I didn't know what was going on. And mentally, I think it overcame me and I thought I'm gonna die, which mentally put me into this like shock. And 20 minutes later, and my secretary called me and I had hit my head on the thing and I'm screaming, and she's like, Brandon, what is it? What is it? Where are you at? I said, highway. And I didn't say much. It got worse and worse and worse. And, it got so bad that I thought in that moment that I thought I was going to die. I said to my secretary, I said, tell my dad I love him. Tell him I love him. Because I thought in that moment that, what was I doing? And I thought that I ran myself in the ground in death. The ambulance came, they got me, and needless to say, I got out of it. I survived. I went to the warehouse that night because I was too stubborn. I didn't even go to the hospital. And I sat in that warehouse alone. I had no friends. My friends didn't call me. I didn't have no girlfriend at the time. I had my work. I had this whole different grind attitude. I wasn't doing what I loved. And I was alone. And I thought, Brandon, what are you going to do with your life? What is this thing called life, you know? What are you doing? And then I didn't really learn my lesson. I kept going. And then it was September 27th, 2013 when I really had another moment that happened. I got a call and I was, in another hotel room in some place in Iowa where I'm working. And my dad said, hey, Brandon, your friend was killed last night in a car accident. And I said, what? Why the fuck would you say that, Dad? That's stupid. Why would you say that? Yeah, Lee was killed last night. So then I called up my mom at the bank and I said, Mom, what's going on? What's going on? Brandon, sorry that Lee passed away. He got hit by a semi and he was just killed instantly. And in that moment, I thought about what should I have said last time I saw him 5 days ago? What should I did differently? And I thought about all the times I remember falling asleep and waking up in the ditch, and because I was going on like 4 hours sleep, and when you do Adderall, sometimes it's not good for what it does to you. And I would fall asleep and wake up, and I thought about, oh, that should have been me, or you try to blame yourself and all the things. And I realized, what am I doing? What the fuck am I doing? I remember going at 21 years old and you walk into a funeral home and you see a kid that you know, he got a whole life out of him, he's dead, he's sitting in a fucking casket. And you look and it's like, why is that fair? And I did more drinking and all these other things, and I realized, what am I doing? What am I doing in life? And I made a commitment to myself. Sometimes you have to have this huge thing happen to you to make a commitment. I realized I'm going to commit to doing what I love in life because life is too short not to. And that's where it comes on the end of my podcast show. I say, create something great, become unforgettable because life is too short not to. I believe to create great things in life, do things that are unforgettable, so when you do die, you can be thankful for everything you've done. I thought in that moment, like, if I was going to die today and look back, would I be proud of everything? No. I think I'd be proud of all that work I did. That means shit. So that changed my whole trajectory on everything. And where things really started changing, I met my beautiful girlfriend and now fiance, Samantha, and she had joined my vision, and I left corporate. By the way, I drove to Omaha, Nebraska. I drove there and said, I'm leaving. They thought I was nuts. And I left, and I didn't look back. Never again. And I went to go start this product development company. You know, you'd think, like, I'm going to go on my own, start a company. And my fiance and I, we went all the way to Des Moines, Iowa. And I told her, I said, Sam, quitting your full-time job. You're leaving Minnesota. You're coming with me. We're going to start a company in Des Moines, Iowa. Adams Product Innovation. I got a full-time job for you. I have the plan laid out, which I did, by the way. I have the money invested. I had about $750,000 lined up about coming to me for investment. I had it all lined up. I had the office picked out. I had my apartment, everything. We went to Des Moines. We got the apartment. We had everything. We had put the money down. And then I realized at the last moment, I'm like, shit. The gut feeling told me, I can't do this. Follow your gut, by the way. And I realized if I took that money, it would be the end of me. It'd probably be the worst decision I could do. And it was so hard for me because I felt like I let everybody down. I'm the kind of guy that said, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And I mentally thought, wow, I'm a loser for not doing it. I felt like a fucking loser. I felt like a loser because my girlfriend at the time, I thought, I can't even provide for them. I can't provide for her. And I told her, I let her down because I told her I would give her everything. I let everybody down. And I pouted for a little bit, and I felt like the lowest moment of my life. But I found out when you hit your lowest moment in life, you hit rock bottom, there's only but going up. And I realized you get these superhuman powers. We have this survival mode. You need to figure out how you're going to survive. So I went to the thing I knew. I had Arctic Stick. I'm like, how can we make some money with that and just move forward? So what we did is we made a pivot. We did a crowdfunding campaign about a month later, and that's when I did the crowdfunding campaign for Arctic Stick. I went nuts. This thing called Kickstarter Indiegogo, which, by the way, I thought I'd do some stuff, but I was doing hours of research and all this stuff, and I saw what they did with the potato salad, which is nuts. They raised like 60 grand for making potato salad, and I thought, this is pretty easy. And what I did is we launched a campaign, Samantha and I and Andrew, my business partner now, and we launched it, I think, July 4th of 2014. And we launched. It was hard. It was difficult. Every day was a grind. We did everything wrong. But then the campaign raised about $26,000, and I realized I didn't know shit about crowdfunding. I hit my goal, but I realized at that moment there's an opportunity. So many people failed. As entrepreneurs, along your journey, sometimes your company's not going to go in the direction. See, I thought Arctic Sick, and I thought maybe Adam's Product Innovation, but then I saw, you know what? Crowdfunding. There's nobody really self-proclaiming themselves an expert, and this is a new industry that I believe in. I'm like, I'm going to be that guy. That's going to be my specialized knowledge. That was a principle in Think and Rich. My specialized knowledge is I'm going to learn crowdfunding. I'm going to be the best at it. I'm going to market myself the best at it. And I'm going to give myself an opportunity to get whatever I want in life. And that's what I did. So I learned crowdfunding. And what I did is I put in the forethought process of life. Everything's a grind. Overnight success is years in the making. I realized I had to become the best at crowdfunding. I had to learn from the best. I had to do whatever it takes to become the best in crowdfunding. So I did it. I studied. I went on and I did podcasting. Travis Lloyd's in the audience. He's the first guy I ever had on my podcast show. And I interviewed him and I traveled the country. One thing I did differently is I traveled across the country and I interviewed people in their office. I knew the power of relationships and connecting with people. I knew the power that one day would take me to Kevin Harrington and billionaires and all these successful people because I'd build relationships. And people are like, why would you drive all across the country and sleep in your truck and you have no money and you like go interview this person for 45 minutes? Because I'm building relationships. You know what them people thought? Like when I said, hey, I'm going to come to you and interview in person, you're going to come to me, and I'm driving across the country, like, damn, man, you're committed. I did that. I built relationships. I traveled the country. I once did a trip, California. I was in California. I went there. I did a 9-day trip, and I did it for less than $1,000. I slept. I love, by the way, if you ever work out, the Hollywood LA Fitness, there's a parking lot there, and what I did is I would sleep in the actual parking lot of my truck. I had a sleeping bag, F-150, I had cans of food, and I'd sleep there, and then what I did is I bartered, and this is why I love what Akbar said. If you want to make money, you shouldn't have to, like real entrepreneurs, they don't need money to make money. So you always barter, right? And what I did is I went up to the fitness people, I said, hey, can I get a free week pass? I'm just looking around, I might be moving here sometime and see what it's like. I worked out for free. I worked all day, went to seminar, did my podcast in my truck, went to sleep at night in my truck, woke up early in the morning, worked out, showered, did it all over again. I slept in my truck. And you know, that's why I say when I challenge people, come to events, it'll change your life. That event I went to and other events I went to changed my life. People say, I don't have the money for airfare or whatever fucking bullshit they tell themselves. And I can't stand it because I don't ever make excuses. I ever get there, either you're going to make it happen or you're going to make an excuse. And I don't make excuses. So I learned. I committed. I did podcasting. What podcasting did is built my brand and allowed me to connect with a lot of influential people. And then what I did is I wrote a book. Joel, yes, it was an Amazon bestseller, but no, that one actually was an Amazon bestseller, but it was my first book. It was like 70 pages. I knew that I had to write a book, and I did it. I wrote the book on crowdfunding. People took me seriously. And what also, TV producers love it is you have a book. So I wrote the book. I had the credibility for an expert in the industry because obviously if you're an author or not an author, the expert in crowdfunding with the book or not the book, who they pick? They picked the book. So I went to the next one, and I ended up going on TV across the country. I did this because, you know, I knew if you go on TV, it builds your brand and people see you. It was getting that clip afterwards. So one thing I did, I don't think anybody else in the world's doing it. Maybe they thought, why do it? Because it's crazy. But I went on TV across the country, and I promoted crowdfunding. Actually, I love it because in Arizona, I wanted the NBC 12 and Good Morning Arizona both in 48 hours. I actually did a little bit of basically said, hey, I'm going to go on this TV channel. Do you want the first opportunity? I'll go on you first. And they're like, yeah, they're very competitive. So I went on both channels in 48 hours. I didn't pay anything. And I just had the shtick. I had my pitch. So I went on TV across the country. I was promoting local crowdfunding campaigns. And I got to tell you, I'll never forget. There's one guy that sent me an album, Jason Hanji, and he was in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Like, by the way, don't ever call somebody up that you don't know, and because you saw their crowdfunding campaign, and say, hey, I'm going to take you on TV and let's promote your campaign. He thought I was fucking nuts. I did it. Anyways, I got him to come. I'm like, dude, this is lined up. We did it, and he went on TV, and his campaign never made it, but it was great because I'll never forget when he got off TV, he said, Brandon, why did you do that? You don't even know me. Why would you do that for me? I said, man, I believe in you. I saw your campaign. I want to help you. That, by the way, was worth everything. And at the time, I had no money. That felt good. And I helped him, and it was, I don't know, 6 months ago, I got in the mail I love this. I got in the mail, it was his EP, his music, and a CD, and in the back is a letter. In the back it said, thank you to Brandon T. Adams. I'll never forget that. And it's just because I helped somebody, you know? And I was building my brand with going on TV, and I'll never forget actually the day when I was in Phoenix, Arizona, and one of the things I did through podcasts, and by the way, listen here on this. So for podcasting, at the end of every show, see how you can help somebody. Connect with them. One thing I always did is say, hey, I'm a crowdfunding expert. How can I help you? And I always did that. And I connect with people. And one guy that came on my show was named Louis Foreman. And he was on my show. He's thankful. And he said, hey, man, well, how about you send me some stuff, maybe we'll get you in my magazine. I followed up. How many times do people offer you something, you just let it sit, and a week goes by, and you're like, I won't send them anything. I followed up right away, and what I did is I sent them professional photos, and that's why you have to invest in your brand, and that's why we take photos here, because when you have the opportunity that presents itself, you can use that photo for publicity. So I sent him a great photo, which that one I love, by the way, and I sent him that and some other stuff. Needless to say, they love the story so much, they put me on the cover of National Magazine, which cost me nothing, and that was great credibility. It's great credibility. And funny thing now, we have our own magazine that's sitting right in front of you that we do, which is, it's cool to have other entrepreneurs that we feature on the cover of our magazine. And the guy right there, John Lee Dumas, is on the cover. And John is somebody now I'm friends with, but he's a top podcaster. He does a podcast a day. He's got millions of downloads. He's done some great things. And he's one of the guys that I had on my podcast show. And one day I had him on the show, and I got done. I said, hey, John, if I can help you in any way, I'm a crowdfunding expert. He's like, hey, I got this idea about this book named The Freedom Journal. Like, I want to do something with the Freedom Journal and make this happen, setting and accomplishing goals. I'm like, sure, I can help you. We got off the call. As soon as we got off the call, he didn't ask me to do this. I created an entire campaign. I spent a day on it. I sent him the log and I said, hey, we got a good start. I'm going to help you. Now, the lesson to be learned there is help somebody and don't expect anything and see what happens. Because I'm going to tell you 3 different stories along this journey where I did that and it led to great riches. So I did that, and needless to say, 6 months later, we launched a campaign as really my first campaign. I really had only done one other campaign before. I just kept showing myself as that expert. And then we launched a campaign January 4th, 2016. We raised $100,000 in 33 hours. We raised $453,000 selling this book in 33 days. It's the 5th largest crowdfunding campaign in history for a book. And it all happened because I had put in the work for an entire year. I built up my brand, my connections, and eventually one opportunity came, and I jumped on it. I took it, and I made him a lot of money. John Lee Dumas, and a great book, and we did another book ever since. But then that's where it led to my overnight success. That was like, oh my God, my overnight success. And then it led to somebody else. They're like, oh my God, you made him that kind of money. Can you help me? And then I helped Kevin Harrington. We did Put a Shark in Your Tank. We crowdfunded it, and I'm co-authoring the book with him. And we ended up doing a mastermind with him, which we talked about before, where that mastermind led to him doing $75 million with one specific individual. And that came from a campaign we did. And built a trust and relationship with him. Make somebody money. I'm telling you, if you want to get a connection with somebody, make them money. Hey, show me the money, baby. It's simple as that. And then I and I realized I had this talent crowdfunding. And I used it to get the things I wanted. I had this idea to throw the greatest event in Iowa. I wanted 10,000 people there. And then I went to Tony Robbins' event in LA, and there was 10,000 people there. And I'm like, holy shit, that's a lot of people. But I still had a vision. You know, you got to aim for the stars and land on the moon. So I worked my ass off. At the time, I was still grinding. This is really hard because at the time I was grinding so much. My fiance now, we had broke up for a while, which is probably one of the hardest moments in my life. And, you know, I'll tell one specific story. During this campaign, and right when we launched, you know, it was the morning that we launched, and this is, by the way, my fault. And one thing, you know, find out what really matters in your life. It's not all the glamorous things, the Emmys or the successes or the money. That's good and all, but it's the people you love and the people you want in your life. And I didn't realize that. It took a while, a loss to figure that. And it was a day I remember launching our campaign, going on TV. Arctic Stick actually had been on a Pandora ad across the country. We launched a product. All these things happened. It was actually the day I had moved Samantha out of our apartment at the time, and it was my first night sleeping alone. It was not a good night. It was like a lesson for me to realize that, oh, I had these things that I wanted, but what I really wanted was her, and now she's gone, and well, there's your lesson, Brandon. So for you, don't lose sight of who you love, because those are the people that really matter to you. So I got into crowdfunding with this campaign, And we did this, we launched it, ended up being Iowa's largest event. We had over 500 people at this event, huge success. By the way, everyone laughed at me. Like, oh, you're gonna put an event on and do this? These events are hard, obviously, you know. So we did the campaign, that was us, huge success. Yes, that's Ken Shamrock. And yes, that's Kevin Harrington jumping in there. And we got John Lee Dumas with a drink in his hand and Greg Roulette. And there's a billionaire hanging out and they're all happy and all these people there. Jeff Hoffman. That was a huge success. And here's where I got it. I understood it. And here was the secret to success. So had this happen. One of the guys, by the way, he paid 10 grand to speak on my stage. I always give him shit because he was 2 weeks before the event happened. He came in and I had a friend that knew a friend through actually Lewis Howe's Facebook group. And this guy said, I'm gonna have a sponsor. He came in last minute and he said, well, if he could speak on your stage, well, he'll sponsor 10 grand. I'm like, okay. And anyways, he came, he spoke at the event, and we got talking. And one thing that happens at events, and this is why I really want to tell you, and this is why, by the way, David was the guy I had for the first speaker, because his books show up, is exactly what I've applied here to my entire life. It's showing up. But I followed up. When you go to events, you connect with people. I don't have time to tell the stories that happened from that event. I got the best success because I followed up. But what happened is, he said, hey, Brandon, I have this master class that I do, and I teach crowdfunding in Orlando, Florida. He said, why don't you come down and we'll film? And by the way, he wasn't paying me. And my first thing, devil side of me says, I got to fly there on my own dime. I don't know if I'll make any money, and I have no time, and all this bullshit. I'm like, every time I had trained myself, every time I had that negative thoughts in my head, I said, screw it, and did it. So I did it. I got on a plane 2 weeks later, went there, we talked, we ended up doing a master class, and we filmed, and I don't know, we made a little bit of money from it. But what happened is, he said, Brandon, I got this idea to do a TV show and crowdfund it. And I'm thinking, oh, now I know why you want me down here. And I realized all that time with podcasting and that crowdfunding, all building up that knowledge and that work was putting me in an opportunity to have that, again, overnight success. And he said, hey, let's do this. Well, we made the deal that day on May 11th in 2016. And it was 60 days later, we launched a campaign. It was really hard, by the way, trying to raise money for a reality TV show that you had never done before. And anyways, we raised 50-some thousand. We got our initial funding. Within 2 weeks, we went to Iowa. We filmed an episode. I had to go to Iowa. We filmed an episode there and in the cornfields and all kinds of stuff. We went forward, and there's our team, by the way. Sean is in the audience. I love this guy. He got, 4 Emmys last Saturday. Badass. Round of applause for that. Greg Roulette, my brother from another mother, who's going to be speaking tomorrow night. And we also have Dan Paracino, who's actually part of the team as well. So we're there in Iowa. That was after we filmed, and we found out you don't wear glasses on a reality show, because if you wear glasses, people don't trust you. That's one thing. The reality show people are like, dude, you never wear sunglasses on a show. Learned that the hard way. But we did that, and we had the team, the dream team, and we all believed in it. We wanted to create this show, and people said, that'll never happen, all these things. And well, needless to say, we didn't listen to them. This was actually last weekend, and our show ended up getting, after filming 6 episodes and traveling the country and have great people, and we had Lewis Howes on our show, Joel Comm came on, Christina, who's in the audience, came on the show, Kevin Harrington, Caleb Maddox, and Jack Canfield, and all these great people. Jake Paul came on the show, and we had a great show, and it took a lot of time, a lot of hard work. By the way, having a reality show, it's so much work, and I much respect for actors and stuff, because sometimes on set, I had things going on in my life that weren't pretty, and you have to deal with that while you're filming a show. So, you got to go on camera, and you got to smile, and you got to make this stuff happen. So, I mean, we did it, and we got to deal with Entrepreneur Network, which led to get on Facebook Watch, which it got an Emmy nomination, and all that was validation that hard work is worth it, and we made it happen. We showed them that what is possible, and we had the dream team right there. Love this crew, and that's by the way, as you can tell, I'd never dress up like I did for the Emmys, but we made it happen. Because why did it happen? It happened because I gained specialized knowledge in a certain area, became an expert, which all of you should become an expert in a certain area, and use that to propel you forward to get into opportunities you want. Figure out how to use your knowledge to make money, and then get into other opportunities. Along the way, you'll find out other things you want to do, which mine was video. And then through all this that I was doing, the crowdfunding, they saw we had these people that saw this campaign that I did with John Lee Dumas, with Kevin Harrington, and with my TV show. And this guy by the name of Joel Franco saw me do a Facebook Live. And by the way, if you're not doing Facebook Lives, they're powerful. They used to be a lot more powerful, and then Facebook came in and said, I'm going to charge you everything for your views. I used to make so much money from Facebook Lives, and then You still do, but they really cut down. I was doing this live in the backyard. I was talking about Think and Grow Rich. And I had said, by the way, a year prior, that one day I'd be on the back of the book for Think and Grow Rich. And I talked Think and Grow Rich, everything else. Well, Joel Franco saw that live. He said, hey, we need to talk. We got on the call soon after, and he said, Brandon, I've been watching you for a while now, and I think you're perfect. You fit the spot for this 20-something kid that we want in our movie, and also I think you'd be perfect to help us raise money for our movie. We're thinking about doing a crowdfunding campaign. Again, another opportunity came at me, and I had my knowledge in a specific area. The opportunity was there, and I took it. So I added value. Like, again, another principle in Think and Rich is adding massive value, taking action. I did that. And, well, needless to say, I became a part of the movie Think and Rich, The Legacy, which is based off the book Think and Rich by Napoleon Hill. It sold over 100 million copies. It's changed so many lives. It's like the #1 book that people refer in life. And move forward, and we did the campaign. We raised $370,000 in a couple months, and in that category in Indiegogo, it made it the largest campaign in history for a docudrama, and went forward. And because of that, with that knowledge, they got me a spot to be a part in the movie and be the youngest cast member in Think and Grow Rich, The Legacy, which, by the way, we have Tim Story in the audience. Tim, a round of applause. Tim is one of the guys in the movie, a great mentor, somebody I look up to. Tim's in the movie, Grant Cardone, Barbara Corcoran, Lewis Howes, and Bob Proctor, and all these people. And James, you still here? James Whitaker is also in the audience, who actually wrote the book, Think and Grow Rich, The Legacy. Round of applause for him, because that book is amazing. It comes out Saturday, I think, online. Yes, it does. So he got me in the film. This is a great experience. All that happened because I had knowledge in crowdfunding. We had fun. There's actually James there. There's Barbara Corcoran and Rob Dyrdek and Bob Proctor. We brought the film crew here, actually came into LA, and we filmed this. And again, I'm like, I got this. We'll bring our team, Accelerate Media Group, in. We'll film it. We filmed it all. We did the interviews. Got all this great content. It's cool to interview all these successful people in a short period of time. I had so much fun with it, and a huge success. And now, I mean, it's coming up tomorrow, where it's going to finally release after 3 years of hard work. I've been on part of the team for like 18 months, and we're projecting this to do huge things. The Secret did, I think, $300 million in their launch. We project this to knock it out of the water, and I really hope it does. What I'm going to show you now is, out of all that, quick, I learned crowdfunding. It led me to video. And crowdfunding was my specialized knowledge to get me the opportunities I have today. And I'm going to show you some videos. And the reason, this is where the learning part comes. This is a story and how I got into, and why you should do video, and why it's changed my life, why it can change your life. And play this video.
Being rich is being fulfilled in all areas of your life. It's not only money, it's doing what you love, it's growing, it's affection, it's having everything in your life perfect, where every single day you feel like you're in heaven, you feel like it's the best part of your life. And I'm at that point in my life. I wasn't always there. I've met wealthy people that aren't happy because they haven't been able to apply all the principles. And I've been to the point where I've lost loved ones because I didn't apply them all. I focused too hard on the work and the money, and it hurt me. But when I focused on what I loved, helping others, and doing the things that I was great at, the rest came. So I think if you want to be very successful, you have to be fulfilled in all areas of your life with money, growth, love, and love is what pushes you further. I found out that love has influenced me to do things that I never thought are possible. When you're in love, you have power beyond belief to achieve great things, because it's for more than just you, it's for someone else to get to that next level.
But that was a segment I got for Think and Rich, which actually showed in the movie. We did the premiere in October 14th in LA, and a great opportunity, a life accomplishment for me to be a part of that. And needless to say, we're going to jump into a video. Why do video? Why should you do video? And there's me, by the way, and right before I did the interview, I'm always like, I'm like energy, and people think I'm on drugs or something. I'm just on life. And there I am with my Canon 70D and some mics and doing a podcast show. And why create video? Why should you create video? Benefits of video. You build trust with your audience. It's a way to build trust with people that you've never met before. You build trust with people. You show them what you're good at. There's so many experts out there that nobody knows. You need to show people how good you are, and you do that through video content. You become omnipresent. I don't know if I spelled that right, but see, there's my 1.68. Omnipresence. You're being seen everywhere. And you got to show up everywhere. I do that through video. Again, Snapchat, Instagram, videos that we create, posts, everything. And then it tells a great story. The most powerful thing we have as human beings is storytelling. I mean, you look at the Bible, whatever religion you are or whatever you may believe in, stories have been told for thousands of years. And stories, great storytellers, can move people to do something with their life, to do great things, to build tribes. I believe a video is the best way to tell your story, through hearing it, seeing it, the visual effects, everything about it. Types of videos. Sizzle reel, testimony. I'm going to show these types, by the way, and I don't know if you bring it up on the actual computer and show the video, if it's going to be better or not. We'll see. But we're going to show a sizzle reel, testimonial. We're going to show a video showing you action. So I actually have one of the people that I worked with where by the way, when I say I film everything, I film everything. I told my fiance, I asked if we could film, if we happen to get married next year, which I don't think we are, but I said if we were going to get married next year, can I film it for a show? And I don't know if that's going to happen. And then I'm going to show you Gary Vee style motivational video, which is content to put out and get people's attention. Actually did it during graduation time, which is during a trend, so more people are going to watch it because they're graduating. And then I'm going to just talk about TV show and where things are going now. So let's see. Hopefully it plays well.
Crowdfunding has raised people thousands of dollars, and we have a crowdfunding expert here with us this morning, Brandon T. Adams.
Joining me now is Brandon Adams.
Brandon Adams.
Brandon Adams joining us.
We're here with Brandon T. Adams.
Brandon Adams.
Brandon Adams, the founder of Arctic Stick.
An entrepreneur who successfully raised more than $25,000.
I've been waiting for the chance to prove myself.
Brandon T. Adams. He's a pretty amazing guy that has a gift for teaching. I've shared the stage with Brandon. I've no doubts that his message is one that resonates with entrepreneurs.
You're afraid that people are going to make fun of you. You're afraid you're going to fail. But you know what? I would much rather try than always wonder, what if?
Brandon T. Adams is probably one of the hardest working young men that I have met in today's society when it comes to entrepreneurship.
I will impact 1 billion lives in a positive way. And I'll do this through inspiration, motivation, education, through the power of speaking, podcasting, online education, masterminds, events, and my TV show.
If you're still looking to start a business or grow your business or build a brand or just grow your success in life, you got to check in with Brandon Adams.
Being part of the Entrepreneur Accelerator program with Brandon Adams was seriously the best investment that I could have ever done in my entire life. He has worked with me one-on-one every single week, and he put me in a group of people that I can now consider my friends and family.
Brandon Adams, he's an incredible guy. How he hustles and everything that he does, he's willing to help others who are motivated and hardworking, and he wants others to grow and really create a movement.
You can become an influencer, you can become a great speaker, you can become whatever you want in life. When you're uncomfortable, that means you're growing, and when it scares you, that means you're doing good things.
He's always got like this idea. You can always see his eyes are lighting up. And when you have someone at the helm who has that power and mission, you want to get behind them because that's called an A team, and you want to be on the A team.
We're watching the launch of one of America's new generational leaders. I highly suggest working with Brandon.
You do not want to wake up one day, look back in your life and say, what if? Don't be the what if. Just do it. If you go after your dreams and you pursue it, you're going to live a fulfilled life.
The purpose of that video is to build credibility and to show who you are. So for you, if you don't have a video like that, I highly suggest you get one because you got testimonials, you're showing B-roll action. By the way, Sean in the audience created that. It's such a bad, it's pretty good, right? Round of applause for what he did. So it's testimonials, it's telling a story, it's showing who you are. And by the way, I was collecting clips. I've been collecting clips. Actually, when Samantha first started, when we bought her Canon 70D, I told her we're going to film all of our journey, and I would do videos and be like, here's our success. I'd be like, oh, here's what happened today. And there was times like I didn't want to create video and I was crying on camera, and we showed all this. And actually that overnight success video was like 5 years of clips compiled. So right there, I took clips from going on TV and all this stuff. I'd always vested in video. So for you,
I highly suggest to get a video like that, because what it does is it helps build your brand credibility. And if you have somebody that wants to work with you, you're charging a higher amount, you send that to them. And obviously when you get Kevin Harrington to give you a testimonial, you get different, just people that are just getting started, you show all this, it builds credibility and trust through seeing that kind of stuff. So if you don't have one of those videos, I highly suggest you create one. The next one we got here is the VIP day. And so, by the way, 2 other people in the audience, Amanda Goolsby and Michael Dash. Give them a round of applause. These guys are awesome. So those 2 and another person, Fabian is his name, Aquino, he actually, I want to do this 90-day challenge. I wanted to help people with basically jumping started some things they want to work on, whether it's speaking, podcasting, whatever it be. And one thing I do is when I did the VIP day with them, I filmed everything. And I do this for everything I do because, again, I want to capture that moment. And then that day I want them to have marketing material too. So I wanted to show, when I went to Chicago with Fabian, I wanted to show what that experience is like. And then you can see, again, for your own ideas for your business, think about if you can film you working in action, because this is a video showing somebody working with me and showing the actual experience. Because most people, if they don't know you, they're like, oh, well, how do I know what it's going to be like working with you? Well, I'll send you a video. Here's what it's like. You want to play a video? We're in Chicago. We're going to meet with my buddy Fabian, who is a personal trainer, but he wants to take everything he knows online. So we're going to help him build out his program online and help, kickstart for people in the new year. And also, he's going to kick my ass in the gym. We're going to go in the gym, do a workout, and get our sweat on. So let's have some fun. Right there is an example. I wanted to show what it would be like. So people, if they wonder, like, hey, if I was ever going to work with you, Brandon, what's it like? And this video shows, okay, here's me working with somebody, and just showing what the experience would be like. But also, I want that person I work with, again, I want to multi-purpose everything. I want that person I'm working with to have something that helps them. I'm always trying to find ways to multi-purpose something and have it a win-win for everybody. And you should too for anything you do in business. So think about, say if you are I'm trying to think, I'm going to say a plumber. I don't know why a plumber. I use this example. If you're a plumber, I would suggest get a videographer and showing you being a plumber and working with the person that you're working with, whoever that may be, and show them smiling and showing that experience. Or if you're an accountant, show that experience. Like any business you have, show the experience on camera so people can be like, oh, that's what it was like with them. I guess I trust them now. I'm going to work with them. So that is another video you should think about using. The next one, last one we're going to do is a video. This is, I had fun with this. Herb did this. And by the way, he's like, Brandon, dude, my arm, it's like 2 minutes, and you have to hold the camera, and I'm walking, and I didn't realize, I kept calling him like, dude, you're late, like, stop being a little wuss. And then I had to do it once. I'm like, oh my God, these things are heavy. But I'm going to show you a Gary Vee style video, and it's a video basically inspiration, just kind of like call to action, fun video that I do every once in a while. So here's another kind of video that you can create for yourself.
So what's up, college kids? I want to talk about graduation, your degree, because right now, this month, what's happening is you're graduating. You are in this point of your life where, what do I do next? You're kind of scared. Am I going to find the safe job? Or am I going to go work for myself? You have all this pressure. You have bills to pay. You have college loans. You have all this. And here's what I got to say. Here's the deal. You're in the best situation of your life. You literally have the life ahead of you. What are you, like 21 years old? I'm 27, and I literally could fail 10 times in the next 5 years and still get back up and go ahead. And here's the point to take away. You're so young, go out there, travel. Heck, take 6 months and travel. Go sleep on couches, go lose some money, go do some crazy shit. Because at the end of the day, you can always get back up. And one thing I can share with you that hopefully you take to heart and actually follow is this. You have this one life to live. You're young. What do you got to lose? Go after the things you love, make some money in the process, learn, go have some fun, find a company that are like us, where we do fun things and we film things, but find a company where you can learn from, find mentors, find a community that supports you and believes in you and your vision. Because the people that tell you take the safe route, work the corporate job, do the thing that gives you security, fuck security. My advice to you is go out and fun and do whatever you want. Happy graduation. Here's to you.
Show that to your kids for graduation. I tend to be a little vulgar and speak my mind, and Sam will hit me sometimes. But I just like to say how it is. I found out when you do things that scare you, when you take leaps of faith, and the couple things I think about were leaps of faith in my mind, like 3. One was when I dropped 10 grand on my mentor. I was scared. I'm like, dude, I don't have this money. I did it, but I grew. And the next was when my fiance and I moved to Des Moines. And, we failed. Well, it was actually a good learning lesson that helped us become more successful. But I was scared. Like, we went there, and I was like, I lost it all, I felt like. And then the next time was the time when I remember we went to Orlando, Florida. And I wasn't so much scared, but I'm like, oh, that's the first time I actually moved out of Iowa. So I had a place in Iowa and Florida, and we went to Florida, and then I knew they had to help with our TV show because we were doing more filming. And every time I took a leap of faith and did something that scared me or did something that was out of my comfort zone, I grew. So get out of your comfort zone. Stop staying in the safe zone, because when you get out of that zone, a lot of great things happen for you in your business and your life. So as we finish up here, the next big thing and where it sums up, if you really want to take video to a whole new level, it's creating your own show. Creating your own TV show, and we're talking a real show. And we've worked with people, and with Bill over here, we helped him with creating his show and did some cool things with him and filmed the content, got him on the Live to Grind show, his own episode. And it's the people that do that, stuff like that, they're going to be ahead in the future. Their business is going to be ahead. And for us, and for Samantha and I, we committed to doing our show Success in the City. The show is a passion project because we really want to help people, and it brings us together and really what we want to do and make an impact, because we know here's multiple things. I'll tell you that this show is going to help people in every city. It's obviously going to build our brand too and influence. And the bigger picture, and I've said this, and Mandy Monahan, who's in the audience, who's a part of my mastermind, she actually had found all the funding for the first episode, and she's become associate producer of that episode. Round of applause for Mandy, who helped make that vision come true. And Shay, who also is going to be the great entrepreneur we feature. Give me a round of applause. And so this show is, we want to do this. We want to make impact. Everything I do is going towards helping other people. And down the road with this influence, and when you build influence, you look like Ashton Kutcher. I relate to him because he's in Iowa, about an hour and a half from my hometown. And you look at these people that are very influential, and they built up their brand through TV and everything else. Now they're giving back, and they're helping people. And my goal is to build up my brand so much and build up a great show, or eventually I can use that to take my influence, take our mentors and our friends to go raise $50 to $100 million and go invest in entrepreneurs across the country and turn that into billions of dollars, and then use that money for good. Use that money to give back. Use that money to invest in the technology for the future. That is my big goal in the future. I'm looking down in the future, what's going to happen, and it all starts with video. And Samantha and I are going to take this journey on and do a lot with it. We're excited for it. We have a great team. There's Kevin Harrington. So Kevin is our executive producer, and where it sums up where I started at the beginning. How do you get somebody like Kevin Harrington, how do you get somebody like that to be behind your project and be an executive producer and somebody that can give that kind of influence? Well, you help people. You add value. You build your brand. You get an expertise that people want, something that can help them. And he was one of those people. I helped him in many different ways, and because of it, he was more likely to help me. I built trust with him. I built my relationships. I invested in mentors. The next one, Jeff Hoffman in there, and this is a picture. I couldn't find many pictures of Jeff and I, but Jeff, he co-founded Priceline. This is at YEC year one, by the way. Talk about you are the average of the 5 people you hang out with. Jeff Hoffman's a self-made billionaire, co-founder of Priceline.com. He's one cool thing I always talk about that he did is he took the movie Cabin Fever. It was a low budget, $1.5 million, $1 million film, and they actually, in the first year, they did $100 million in revenue. And it's funny because people said he couldn't do it. In the movie, he actually gets killed. But he's behind that, and I think he's part of like The Hostel and other different films, and he's done great things. And I talk about one of the best speakers I've ever heard is Jeff Hoffman. And Jeff believed in Samantha and I, and he committed to being executive producer and a person as a mentor. I talk to him here every a couple weeks, and he potentially might be here tomorrow, I'm hoping. He actually had 2 speaking events. It's funny because he said he was going to come, and he found he had to speak in 2 places on Thursday and Friday. And in Texas, he's like, Brandon, I have these obligations. I got to speak here. And I said, you going to be here tomorrow morning? And then he sent me a picture with him and Daymond John. And he's like, I'm speaking with Daymond John. I'm still trying to figure it out. And I remember telling him a week ago, I'm like, Jeff, you co-founded Priceline, man. I said, you're my hero. You can figure out how to get here. So I really pressured him. Hopefully he'll be here tomorrow. But he's behind the project. What he does now, he's like somebody to look up to. I always say, find someone that achieved what you want to achieve, follow in their footsteps. If you combine Jeff Hoffman and Kevin Harrington, if they're a hybrid, that's what I want to become. Kevin Harrington's built his brand with Shark Tank. He's got a huge brand, influence people, and mentors other people. Jeff Hoffman, same thing. He travels. He's not as known, but he invests in entrepreneurs. I mean, he spends millions of dollars every year on other entrepreneurs. And those two people right there are behind our show. And that's why it's going to be so successful. And this is the only picture, Sean, I could find of just us. I didn't see one of just you and I. But Sean is our director for the show, Success in the City. So we have the dream team, baby. We have the dream team. We have the right people around us. We have an Emmy award-winning director who has been a part of the films with Peter Diamandis, where they filmed with Richard Branson and Tony Robbins, and also a part of the Jack Canfield documentary and Rudy and all these other projects that he worked on. I'm missing a bunch of them. But he's done so many things, and he knows how to create the right scene, the right content. And when you have Kevin Harrington, Jeff Hoffman, my fiance and I, and him, and also the team we have around us, there's no failing. We're going to succeed. We're going to have success in the city. So to wrap up, I want to talk about the keys of success, and this is what I learned in the whole story. For one, take massive action. Stop sitting back and watching opportunities pass you by. One thing that one of the guys went through my accelerator one time, he said, stop being poor. It stands for passing over opportunities regularly. If you have an opportunity and you see an opportunity where it can help you, take it. Stop sitting in the bleachers. Go out there and play. I've always taken the opportunities, and it's led to great success. The next one is figure out what you want to do in life. What do you want to do? And as you're figuring out, do different things. I found out now I love video. I love helping people. So now I focus on it through events, through the masterminds, and through our shows and everything that we do. Figure out what you want to do and master your craft. Next one is gain specialized knowledge and become an expert. Crowdfunding was my vehicle to video. Help people raise money, that's what I did. For you, what is your specialized knowledge that can help people get to where they want to go and help you get what you want in life? Crowdfunding has led me to becoming a co-author with Kevin Harrington in a book, led me to putting on events, led me to getting investment in different companies and becoming advisors to make a lot of money and becoming actually featured in the movie Thinking Rich, The Legacy, and creating my own TV show and creating my own life because I used crowdfunding. Get a specialized knowledge. Next one is use expertise to get where you want to go. Just basically summing that up, use your expertise to get to where you want. Surround yourself with the right people. I say this over and over again. You are the average of the 5 people you hang out with. The fact that you're in this room, you're taking action already. The fact that you're here, you're investing in yourself. You could be, what is it, Friday? I don't even know. I can't keep track. Not much sleep lately. But you could be sleeping. You could be at home watching TV. You could be, I don't know, playing at the bar. I don't know. You could be doing something else, but you're here. You're taking action already. Take action. Invest in yourself and surround yourself with the right people because you are the average of the 5 people you hang out with. When you're around people that are doing things at a high level, they hold you accountable and you become that average. Help people, help people, help people. You want to become a billionaire? Help a billion people. Solve a problem that helps a billion people. Help more people. Honestly, even now, I want to give everything all the time. Saba, thank you for saying that. I just want to help people. I love helping people. It's my addiction. I love helping people succeed, seeing them reach the next level. And for you, if you can help more people, and like David did, David said, help people get their dreams come true. Help them get close to their dream. And when you do that, they're going to help you in return. So help more people. Next one, create video content. Create video content because at the end of the day, I'm telling you where we're at in technology, everything. Eventually, it's going to get more and more advanced. Storytelling is how you can impact people and change the world. The best way to tell a story, through a book, through a speech, through a podcast, but the best way possible, I believe, is through a movie, a TV show, and video content. And that's why I film everything that I do. That's why I went from crowdfunding expert to media mogul. I like to create video to make a bigger impact on earth. And it starts with this, believing in yourself. So many people that I see, they don't have the confidence, the belief that they can do it. And for me, I've always told myself anything is possible. From when I had a speech impediment to when I had the obstacles, I always said, I can do it. Even the times when we were broke and the times where it hurt the most. And it's, by the way, these still happen, where I feel like it's the end. But I know, I have the confidence. After seeing a track record of success, I know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
You have to believe in yourself. And if you believe in yourself and you keep going and you never stop, nothing will ever stop you. You will succeed at whatever you do in life. And from my journey and whatever I learned, and for you, I want you to take this away and think about this. Think about what you're going to do in life. And I'm going to do this rant that I do every day to believe in myself. I do this in the mirror and I say, my name is Brandon T. Adams. I am the most successful entrepreneur of my time. I will not accept defeat. I will not accept failure. Whatever my mind conceives and believes and my mind achieves, I will impact 1 billion lives in a positive way by December 31st, 2019. I'll do this through inspiration, motivation, education, through the power of speaking, podcasting, online education, masterminds, events, and my TV show. I have a great TV show. I am the top influencer of the millennials. And go out there, create something great, and become unforgettable because life is too short not to. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Go take action.